Doctor Who, The Girl Who Died, and The Woman Who Lived. Wow, these are what I want a Doctor Who episode with this new version of the Doctor to be. And I am treating them as one episode because not only did I miss last week's review due to my illness, but they are another two-part episode, technically speaking. And we've had kind of a pattern in this series so far of the two-part episodes being really strong to start out, and then just declining as part 2 rolls around. And thankfully that's not the case here. If anything, part 2 this time around is significantly better than part 1 was. Now that part 1 was bad, it's just part 2, I think, was a landmark Doctor Who episode. Literally changes the show going forward, this episode. It's amazing. And I'm going to try my best to use as few spoilers as possible, with one major exception, which I will warn you about midway through the review, that I just can't help but talk about, because these are episodes that, if you are a Doctor Who fan, you should see these episodes for yourself. They are that freaking good. These are, of course, the episodes featuring Maisie Williams of Game of Thrones fame. She is playing to her strengths here. She is playing a non-typical female character who is interested in more action-oriented things, and as an actress, that's something that she's great at. She does action pieces incredibly well, but she's also an incredibly expressive actress and is able to really allow her emotions to shine through with very little physical acting, which is fantastic, and worked perfectly for this character. And now, one thing that they did that was really clever in retrospect that kind of bugs me because it was a little cheap, is in the trailers for this season, or series, however you want to say it, they made it look like Maisie Williams' character was someone that the Doctor already knew. And that's not true until part 2 of this episode. He meets her in part 1, and then he runs into her again in part 2. And at their basis level, these episodes were about the Doctor realizing why it has been so hard for him to reconnect with the person he used to be since this last regeneration. I've suspected for a long time that he's been having issues because at this point he and the Master are the only two Time Lords ever to go past their final regeneration, and now he's worried that he's more like the Master than he is like the Doctor. So he's been kind of putting up these walls between himself and the people that usually he would be trying to save, so that he isn't hurt anymore and he isn't pushed further down that path to becoming a darker version of himself. And that's pretty much what these episodes confirmed in a fantastic scene that I will talk about a little bit later. So the first part of this two-part episode opens up with the Doctor and Clara ending up in Viking times when they are taken prisoner by some Vikings and taken back to their little Viking village. And bravo BBC for actually portraying Vikings fairly accurately. A lot of people have a lot of trouble with that for some reason. I don't know why, but hey, they do. Though I will point out, Vikings didn't actually wear horned helmets. I know I'm just nitpicking at this point. Anyway, the Viking warriors themselves are eventually taken by this alien creature and they are killed. And this alien creature, he's the leader of, I think they're called the Maya. He is challenged by the Maisie Williams character, Ashildr, I believe was her name. Very cool Old Norse sounding name, by the way. And now they have one chance to get rid of this guy. They can defeat him in combat, and he will leave the rest of them alone. And of course, Clara assumes the Doctor is going to help these people, going to train them to fight, or come up with some clever resolution. And the Doctor is all hopeless about it. He doesn't think they can win until he starts to bond with Ashildr, and he gets an idea to use her specific skills to help them defeat the Maya, not through brute force, but through ruining their reputation as these powerful warriors and effectively blackmailing them into leaving the Vikings alone. However, and this is the big spoilery scene, so if you really want to watch these episodes, I will put a time code to right after the spoiler up in this area of the video, though be forewarned that you can't avoid all of the spoilers and watch the rest of this video. If you don't want any more spoilers at all, then just know that this episode is amazing and you should go watch it and stop the video here. Okay, moving forward. There are some fantastic scenes in this episode, several fantastic scenes in this episode, where the Doctor is just being the Doctor, being this new version of the Doctor, trying to deal with the fact that he really doesn't feel like they have a chance. And then the scene where he realizes he does have a chance, it's like he goes through a transformation. He is that person that we love to see in 10, in 11, in 9 when he got excited, in 4 when he got excited about something. He's that version of the Doctor again, and it just felt so refreshing, and it was like an it's about time kind of moment. And basically what the Doctor does is he executes this plan using the resources that the Viking villagers have. But as a result, a Shielder dies, unfortunately. And this hits the Doctor like a ton of bricks because he thought that he had actually managed to save everyone. So he walks off, he's all depressed, he's heading back to the TARDIS, and he makes a realization that, and this harkens all the way back to the debut episode for Peter Capaldi as the Doctor, when he looked at a reflection of himself and he recognized his face, because you may or may not know this, but Peter Capaldi played a character during David Tennant's run of the show. He was a Roman in Pompeii, and he was a member of a family that David Tennant's version of the Doctor rescued from the Pompeii volcanic eruption. He couldn't save everyone, but he could save this one family, and Peter Capaldi's original character was a member of that family. And he has this revelation where he finally remembers where he saw that face, that he saw it on that guy, and he realizes that, and this isn't all spelled out, you kind of have to piece it together, but he realizes that Eleven, as he was regenerating, kind of subconsciously realized that he might have these insecurities once he was done regenerating, so he subconsciously willed his face to look like this person to remind himself that he's the Doctor and he saves people. So he uses this little patch, this repair kit, to bring a Shielder back to life. And now there's a huge downside to this because now it may be impossible for her to die. She could live freaking forever, basically. And the Doctor, of all people, knows how hard that is. The way he puts it is, living forever isn't living forever, it's watching everyone else die. And it was a beautiful scene because he did a reckless thing to save a person's life again, and it was amazing. And I've missed this. And I think it's going to mark a transitional moment for this version of the Doctor going forward. I think he's going to be a different character after this. And the next episode really supports this because you see the Doctor going after some really dangerous alien artifact in 1600s London without Clara. It's such a big deal he didn't take Clara with him. It's that dangerous. And he runs into a Shielder again, and she claims not to remember much of her past, but she recognizes him. And of course she is still alive. And it doesn't matter that she's helping this alien who's on Earth, and it doesn't matter that he's going to trick her into trying to kill a bunch of people. What matters is that she's acting a lot like the Doctor has been acting for a long time now. She's acting more negative, more dark, like she doesn't care about anyone but herself. And the Doctor is trying to bring back that original optimistic girl that he met and that he knew in the Viking times. And through that, you can kind of see him realizing the parallels here and working his way through his own issues, which was absolutely great. And so you go through this entire episode through these scenes of the two of them acting as a foil for each other, where he's the optimistic one and she's the pessimistic one, reversing the roles that the Doctor and Clara have had for a long time now, and giving the Doctor a chance to work through some of his issues. And then you get the scene where the alien, who had a really cool design by the way, he executes his plan, and the Shielder realizes she does care about everybody else, and she helps the Doctor save the day, and then at the end appoints herself to be his new foil. She's going to follow him through time and make sure he doesn't screw up. She could be his friend, she could be his enemy, but we are definitely going to see her several more times in the future, and I am so excited about this. This changes the entire landscape of the show. I couldn't be happier. Like I said, these are episodes that you need to watch if you're a Doctor Who fan. These episodes were about as perfect as I would ever expect a pair of Doctor Who episodes to be. But guys, if you have seen these episodes, what did you think of them? Let's get a discussion going in the comments section down below. Either way, this has been AJ22, and I will talk to you guys later.